You know who's at my number one? Meelo, because he, I don't know, he can fart bend. What's going on, you guys? James here, and today we're doing a little throwback. We're going all the way back to Legend of Korra Season 1, and I'm going to rank all of those major characters in my tier list, and I'm excited to bring you the best, the great, the good, and the forgettable in Season 1. Guys, listen, I love almost everything about Korra right now, and maybe I didn't care for the Season 2 premiere, but guess what? I'm reacting to episodes 7 and 8 this week, so stay on the lookout for that. And tomorrow my review drops for the new Lily Reinhardt movie, Chemical Hearts. Will I love Chemical Hearts? Or will I not? But hey, go ahead and hit that big red button below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap on the bell so you don't miss out on those awesome reactions and reviews and DC fandom coverage this week. I'm so excited for that. Guys, if you haven't already, smash that like button and go ahead and get loud in the comments below and give me your rankings. Which characters do you put at the top and which are at the bottom? Alrighty, you guys, so let's go ahead and hop right into my ranking of every character from Season 1 of The Legend of Korra. I meant it. Meelo was going at the top. Alrighty, so we're starting with adult Aang. He's so grown up, he has no hair, and he has a chin strap beard. It's so great, and I really think he impacted Korra in a huge way towards the end of the season. But you guys, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to put him at best. I'll probably put him at great. Now, of course, just like my other Avatar, The Last Airbender tier list ranking, these things can change, but I'm gonna put him at great. Next up is, adult Sokka. You know, it was so weird to see him because it's funny to see him in that sort of position of leadership as a councilman. I figured he would, stay outside of politics and try to affect Republic City in a positive way, outside of, I guess, that really, corrupt local government. So, hey, this is a good character, but don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily think that, he is in the great to best category in this season, but I'm going to put him at good. I still love Sokka, okay? Don't get me wrong, he's still amazing. Oh, we're getting into, adult Toph. We gotta put some respect on her name. Love Toph. I think she doesn't get enough credit in Avatar at all. Like, the Avatar fandom loves her, but in the show, she didn't get her fair shake, I think, in that last book of The Last Airbender, but that maybe is a video for another day. However, I'm still gonna put her in good, because outside of those flashbacks, they didn't necessarily play the biggest role in Korra's story in Season 1, but still big enough. Alrighty, so here's our main bad guy, Amon. Listen, I really love him as an antagonist in Season 1. I wish they would have continued his story, but of course we know what happens in the finale. Now, I don't know if he comes back later in the series. I'm not even done with Season 2. But what I will say about Amon, very well written, wonderfully acted by Steve Blum, and you can't discredit his dynamic with Tarrlok. That really helped Season 1 achieve greatness in my mind. So where am I putting Amon? I mean, I have to do it, right, guys? I gotta put him in the best category. Amon is deserving of this spot because he is seriously one of the best villains in Avatar universe, Avatar fandom. I don't know how to properly say that, but yeah, I love Amon so much in Season 1. I just wish they would have continued the story. And then there's Asami. Guys, listen, Asami, you know that I am like championing her. In book 1, I know she played a huge role in the little love triangle, Mako, Korra, and herself. And in book 2, so far, it seems as if they're focusing more on Bolin, Mako, and Korra, and not so much Asami. But hey, I heard she plays a very important role in Season 2, so I'm excited to see what happens. But it's the dynamic she brings to the group, and I love the fact that she stood up to her father. She said, "Pops, you're evil, but I'm good, so I'm gonna go and rock with Korra and the gang." So you know what, Asami? Get up there to the best category. Yeah, I said it. And here's arguably one of my favorite characters in Korra up to the point I am in Season 2. Now, guys, Bolin is the funny man, right? But he brought this sort of emotional touch to Season 1 that was really sincere. When Korra was pretty much leading him on and she wasn't reading the room per se, and he fell for Korra and then instead saw her fall in love with his brother Mako. It was still cool to see how Bolin was taking himself basically out of the picture to allow his brother to be happy. And that's Bolin being basically selfless. And I love his humor. PJ Byrne does an amazing job voicing Bolin. And in Season 2 up to this point, the way he just gets freaked out with all these spirits is so good. It's lighthearted fun. So I'm gonna be honest, guys, I love Bolin. Bolin's going right at the top, best. Alright, you better, again, put some respect on Bolin's name, guys. Next up is B to the U to the M to the I, Bumi. Okay, he is zany as all heck, and I like him a lot for it. It's just so cool to see how he interacts with his brother Tenzin, and they're so different, right? Tenzin's so controlled and calm, and Bumi's like, I'll jump on this hot air balloon right now and do a backflip off into the ocean. Bumi's nuts, but he's so good, and he brings the levity to those more serious moments in Korra. But in season 1, can't lie to you, don't think he's necessarily at the top, and he might not even be in the great category. To be fair, guys, I think Bumi gets a good. That's only because he's not necessarily as prominent in season 1 as the other characters in the best and great categories. But moving on to Cabbage Man, the corrupt Cabbage Man. Cabbage Corp, how dare you? How dare you turn your back on Republic City and go to the dark side with Hiroshi and, of course, Amon. Man, let me be honest with you guys. This is hilarious. I love the fact that the Avatar universe has this running joke with cabbages and cabbage merchants. And then at the end, he says, my Cabbage Corp or something. Remind me in the comments, guys, what that line was. But it was hilarious. I was cracking up because I didn't expect it. However, to be honest, not necessarily forgettable, but kind of forgettable in the grand scheme of things. Don't hate me, y'all, but I'm gonna put forgettable. It's funny. It's a good joke, but it just comes and goes, right? So Cabbage Corp Man doesn't necessarily linger, but I do think that scene was really funny. Alrighty, now we're moving on to Captain Saikhan, who served underneath Lin until, of course, Lin was like thrown out of power or whatever. It was a crazy series of events. I absolutely love the politics that were played in season 1 because it gave that such a diverse tone and attitude compared to Avatar: The Lost Airbender. Cap, he's good, right? But like, to be completely honest with you, is he necessarily one of those memorable characters? Like, would you place him next to Toph and Sokka? Probably not. So I'm not gonna lie, guys. The captain goes in the forgettable category. Don't hurt me. Don't do it. Alrighty, now we're getting into the traitorous Hiroshi. The dude is just... Why would you even think of betraying your homies? You know, and then you go ahead and turn your back on your daughter and almost kill her? However, this is an effective antagonist. It's like an antagonist outside of your main antagonist. What he did was work behind the scenes until his like evil corporation was pretty much exposed. And I really love the fact that Hiroshi teamed up with Amon, and Asami said, I still won't join you, homie. So I really like Hiroshi's story there. So I'm going to put him in the good category because he does add that different dynamic to season 1 that made it so darn enjoyable. Okay, now we're gonna start ranking Tenzin's children because they're so great. This is the one thing about Korra that I love, is that there's an extension outside of our core group of characters that you can just tell brings so much joy every time they're on screen, and that's found usually in Tenzin's kids. They work so great next to each other, and all the voice actors you can tell have great chemistry. And I love Ikki a lot. I just think that she's not my favorite of Tenzin's children. However, that doesn't make her forgettable at all. I'll still put her in the good category. So Ikki gets that ranking, and we're moving on to General Iroh. Oh, every time I hear Iroh in any sort of context, I always think of that super sad song. We're not getting there. No, we're not gonna do it. Nope, not Leaves from the Vine. What's really cool is that General Iroh is voiced by Dante Bosco, so you have a huge connection to Avatar: The Lost Airbender, and his name alone is paying homage to Uncle Iroh. General Iroh is an awesome character. However, I don't think he's a great character. I'm gonna put him in the good category, and I'll tell you why. I don't necessarily, I should say, agree with how Nickelodeon handled Korra in terms of them not really renewing Korra after or even before season 1 finished. And if that's the case, man, you leave the writers no choice to think that maybe it will never get picked up again. So General Iroh came and went. And, you know, I would love to see a lot more of this character in the series as these seasons go on, but I'm just not confident that maybe they fit him in properly. But we'll see. I would love to just see General Iroh return. So we're moving on now to the second child for Tenzin. Jinora's a great character. She's strong, and she actually knows how to stick up for herself. We saw all 3 of the kids, you know, kick some Amon butt over on the Air Temple Island, and it was awesome just to see everything that was going on with her character and the growth and the maturity of Jinora. And I'm not gonna lie, she's one of my favorite characters in this show, probably because of the fact that you can tell she knows her worth, and I love that. You know, she's a strong character. So I'm gonna put Jinora in the great category. Don't fight me. I just really like the fact that they've developed this child of Tenzin's. She stood out for me, honestly. Okay, moving on to Oh, Katara. Katara was my favorite character in The Last Airbender up until book 3 when it became Prince Zuko, but trust me guys when I tell you that Katara paved the way for Korra. Without Katara, I don't even know if there is a Korra, because Katara literally is the epitome of a strong female lead. I loved the way they wrote her character, and here she's more of like a, you know, hey, I'll tell you a story, let me help you get by, I'm just gonna keep the family together. So I like that she just plays the caretaker kind of role. I'm gonna put her in the good category though, because they don't necessarily harp on her as a character for most of season 1. She comes and goes, but still, Katara is great. Well, good. Oh boy, that might have to change. Moving on to our leading woman, Korra is great. I don't think she has a last name, but Korra is awesome. I love her story. Jenna Varney does an amazing job at voicing Korra. One of the best performances I think I might have seen actually in voice acting for a cartoon, because of the fact that I think Katara just epitomizes what it means to be independent and to understand that, yeah, there might be adversity ahead of you, but here's how I'm going to solve it. And sometimes that takes leaning on to others. So I just love the fact that Katara basically had a complete arc in book 1, and then of course season 2 came around and they had to, well, you know, I guess extend her arc. And you know, the jury's still out right now of whether or not I like the direction season 2 is going, but Korra as a core character is just fantastic, absolutely amazing. And you know Korra's going at the top. Come on, y'all. If you thought Korra was even getting into the great category, you just don't know me. I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's get into Amon's lieutenant. I call him Mustachio. And he's cool. You know, he turned against Amon at the end there, but yeah, he's pretty nice. He's good, right? I don't know. There's not much to say because they don't really develop him as a character, so I'm putting Lieutenant, aka Mustachio, in the good category. Oh man, moving on to Lin. Oh my gosh. I love Lin so much. Lin is one of those characters that is so great at, yes, having that lineage of Toph and being her daughter, but is also making her own life in her own way. You know, like, yeah, she understands that her mother was one of the best benders ever, but she's also very calculated, she's precise, and I love her background with Tenzin. Their back and forth is awesome. I'm putting Lin right at the top. And then there's Mako. Now, can I be completely honest with you guys? While I like Mako a lot, I don't necessarily know if I like the way they wrote his character. It ended up becoming a bit more of the romantic interest side and less of Mako growing as an individual. Sure, I think he had to overcome his emotions and his feelings and kind of put them aside for the greater good. And I do like that, you know, he supports Korra. I just don't necessarily know if Mako as a whole is one of the best characters in The Legend of Korra. I still think he's great, but I wanted to put him right at the top, and I just don't think I can because there's something holding me back in terms of, I guess, his development as a character. He just got too caught up in the love triangle at the end there. So I am putting Mako in the great category. Again, don't get mad at me, y'all. It's just my rankings, right? Okay, getting into the final child for Tenzin. Meelo is awesome. I cannot believe this kid basically is so zany and so silly, and he can fight. He can fight his butt off, almost literally. I mean, didn't he fart bend at one time? It was so stupid. But I love Meelo. The voice acting is so cute. It's adorable. And I think Meelo is starting to grow up a little bit quicker than he wants to. He's seeing a lot of destruction and everything in book 1. So listen, your boy Meelo is going to the great category. And I say great, not best, because I do like Meelo a ton. However, not as layered as the other characters in that best category. Oh my gosh, Naga. I love Naga. This is our Appa, basically. You know, there is an air bison here, Oogi, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I got some words to give you all about that, but I love Naga a ton. Naga is such a great polar bear slash, I don't know, it's a strong polar bear, okay? This thing can like break prison bars with its bare hands or paws. I don't know how to say it. But if I'm not mistaken, D. Bradley Baker voices Naga and does such an excellent job. So I'm a huge fan of Naga, and I'm going to put Naga in the great category. So cute. I want a Naga, but I just don't have enough room here. Seriously, I think it would just break my set. Okay, getting into Oogi now. Oogi is cute, but of course Oogi ain't no Appa. However, does Oogi need to be Appa? That was a weird riddle. You don't have to solve that. But for me, Oogi is one of those adorable creatures in this season that didn't get a lot of love. So I can't blame Oogi. However, every time Oogi came on screen, I kind of said to myself, that's Oogi. Oh, that's so cool. So if that character did that for me, don't you think it deserves to at least be in the good category? So I am putting Oogi in the good category. Man, that good category stacked, y'all. Oh man. Okay, moving on to another animal. Oh, this is Bolin's right hand fire ferret, Pabu. Pabu is so cool, man. Pabu, in my opinion, is probably right behind Naga. And I say that only because Naga, you know, and Korra have this awesome relationship similar to Aang and Appa. But yeah, Pabu, such a wonderful creature. I just got so much joy every time I saw Pabu, to be honest. And even though I do get joy, I don't necessarily know if, again, like I said, if Pabu's on the same level as Naga. So I'm gonna put Pabu in the good category. I still love you, Pabu. I still want one, honestly. Okay, so we're getting into the home stretch here. Ooh, Tarrlok. This is one character that I did a full 180 on. I was upset. I am so mad at Tarrlok the entire season. And then you get to the end and you think, am I feeling sympathy for Tarrlok? What in the world? And that's because, of course, he's revealed to be Amon's brother, and then their upbringing. Ooh, Yakone, one of the worst fathers ever. But I do like Tarrlok a lot. I think the character was very well developed. And if anything, I do believe if not for Tarrlok, this season is not as great as it is. So Tarrlok is a huge reason why I loved season 1, and I'm putting Tarrlok right at the top with the best of them in book 1. So now moving on to Tenzin, voiced by the legendary J.K. Simmons. You guys, Tenzin is such an amazing, cool, calm, collected character, but then when you start to see him joke around or even like get into pro bending and like show up to those games, I almost feel like Korra helped Tenzin break out of his shell, but Tenzin, what he did for Korra was teach her one of the most important values that you can ever learn in life, which is patience. So, you know, Tenzin, you're my boy, but nah, who am I kidding? You're going all the way at the top, homie. I love Tenzin. So now the final 3. This character is, it's an interesting character that even in season 2, now I'm not comparing, of course, this is only book 1, but what I will say about this character is that even in season 2, I'm not the biggest fan. Tonraq is a cool character. It's Korra's father, and I don't necessarily think in season 1 he does anything. Honestly, he's forgettable because you just don't see enough of him. And I understand he's responsible alongside his wife for raising Korra, but to be fair, in book 1, they didn't pay Tonraq much mind, so I'm putting him in the forgettable category. Clearly in season 2 he gets more play, so he's not going to be in this tier, but for season 1, yeah, he's at the bottom. Then there's the triple Triad gang, and I struggled with putting them in, but I had to because they were an integral part of why I think Republic City felt a little bit more different in a way. It wasn't just necessarily politics, it was also, you had those street gangs, and it was so different because in The Last Airbender you didn't get that. However, you get a more modern approach, and sometimes the triple Triad gang kind of put, you know, those episodes over the top and made them a little bit more fun. So I would say that they were good. You know, they weren't forgettable at all because, like I said, it just changed the landscape for Republic City. And the final character, oh my gosh, one of the worst fathers of all time. Ozai's looking at Yakone and thinking, thanks for taking the heat off me, buddy. Yakone made his kids, Noah Talk, of course, who is also Amon, and Tarrlok bloodbend each other. You have to be seriously sick in the head to make your kids bloodbend one another. Like, I was watching that scene and I was uncomfortable. It actually made me mad. But that's the thing. This character did a great job at basically changing the story, you know, because we went from being so upset with Amon and so upset with Tarrlok to then shifting our anger towards Yakone, because Yakone is unfortunately an evil mastermind that was trying to get his kids to turn against Republic City and the Avatar. So I'm not gonna lie, guys, Yakone, for as bad as he is and as as much of a jerk that he is, to be honest, I am putting Yakone in the great category because, again, Yakone added another layer to the story that made season 1 so darn memorable. Alrighty guys, well, I'm taking a look right now at this tier list and I am really loving how I rank these characters. I mean, if you don't, you clearly are going to tell me in the comments, but there is one character that I think I'm going to give a little bit of a bump to, and that's because they were amazing in combat and provided one of the most sincere moments when he's looking at the statue and says, "Thanks for having my back." I almost freaking cried at that scene. General Iroh, buddy old pal, get in that great category. So there we have it, guys. My tier list ranking for season 1 characters in The Legend of Korra. I'm happy with it. Alrighty guys, well there you have it. Those are my rankings and I want to know yours. So go ahead and get loud in the comments and let me know if I'm wrong. You guys told me in my last Airbender rankings Azulos should have been higher. I'm sorry. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers and it's all because of your love and support, so I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, DC fandom coverage this weekend. I'm dropping my reaction to episodes 7 and 8 together for The Legend of Korra Season 2. And I got my review for Lily Reinhardt's new movie Chemical Hearts dropping this week. Alrighty y'all, well hey, I got a lot more work to do and more Korra to watch. So until next time, I'm so grateful for you guys. I love ya. And I'll catch you at the next screening.